potholes. There's like everything.
Sure.
Like there's so many other holes in an organization now. And it's almost like, with cloud, even cloud code, like there's all these little tunnels into your company, so to speak, from the outside world. We just have to get better at like figuring this out and deploying the right controls.
Yeah, I think it's one of the simplest ways I've started to think about what we've built, and it applies to things like the drift problem set. But in order to identify the drift that's meaningful to business, you need this source of truth for how your security controls are being operated and applied. And we've built that, right? And to the best of my knowledge, we've built the most accurate representation of that, which as a set of context, enables you to do a lot of different things. Enables us to run our models, enables us to detect drift more effectively, enables us to do things, say, even in the EDR domain, where you can answer a question we've been able to answer the question, does that device run CrowdStrike or Palo Alto Networks XDR, whatever it is? Does it have all these things on it? But it's a big leap to say, okay, well, is it secure? It's not just secure because it has the EDR product. What if it has no policies on it? What if those policies are white up? What if it's in detect mode and not protect mode? And that wasn't your intention on that thing. You can answer that with Reach. You can tie that source of truth for your devices with the source of truth for how things are configured and set up from a security standpoint for you, and provide a picture to the businesses. Here is how we're protecting this asset class. Here's how our network is currently set up, and it's protecting this environment or these end users. You can do that now. And technology has really kind of ushered that in. And that's why I think you'll see the assurance title become more prominent, because it's achievable. Right? It's not just network assurance or I'm confident in my identity. It's I'm confident in my program.
Yeah.
In particular, the technical implementation of my program in a way that I can tell the business, like, yes, we're good. And there's some yellow here, there's some red here because we're missing something, but it's green, and it's green because I checked last night. It's right, objectively checked last night versus the audit report from a month ago. So it's, again, I think it's an incredibly exciting time to be doing anything in technology. I think it's incredibly exciting for security. I think the unsexy problems are back because they can be solved. Things like zero trust that people have been talking about are so just kind of annoyed by at this point. Don't get too annoyed by it. Come back to trying to solve that, because both the vendors that provide the controls to do that, as well as the vendors that are building on top of those controls, can really help you achieve that faster than ever possible, with less upset users and things of that sort. So a lot of these things we've talked about for a long time in security are coming back and becoming far more feasible. And they might not be sexy, but the fundamentals win every time. To your point, like even like accessing data, like agents accessing data that, this agent shouldn't have. Well, I mean,
yes,
you're going like this. You're going like this if you're saying it shouldn't have, right? You're pointing in the wrong direction. So, yeah.
What advice do you have for CISOs?
I did this panel. It's almost the same theme. Maybe it was the same company. I'm not sure. But I did this panel in Chicago and did this panel in Austin. And the conversation, or the topic was like, what do founders know that CISOs don't? And of course, there's a huge invert, and you can invert that question, and we certainly don't know nearly the amount that CISOs know. But I think what I'm seeing, and I won't say I'm providing this advice, what I'm seeing from CISOs or security leaders that are seemingly quite successful in performing in their companies, they're almost being stewards of the fundamentals. Like, they're moving further and further away from fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I think to your comment around get your backyard in order, it's like, I forget the title of the book. It's like 7 Factors of Highly Successful People, or whatever that is.
7 Habits. Yeah.
7 Habits. The first one, you start with yourself, then your family, then your community, you build out. What I've seen is a lot of CISOs embracing that they can improve leveraging technology from an AI standpoint in their own, how they do their business and how they operate. That's one. So focus on the fundamentals in that way. The second thing I'm really seeing is I'm seeing an awful lot of CISOs become responsible for AI and whether they want it or not. I think that's a humongous opportunity. I think it's a humongous opportunity amongst everything else that has to be done, but to really be able to not just own how the business is protected, but how security is operating inside the company to move it forward. I think anybody that can grab those reins and really do well is going to have an amazing career in just in general. I don't know if it'll be cyber, there might be CTOs soon, whatever it might be. But I'd say I don't have a lot of advice, but only observation. And that trend of CISOs owning AI seems to be more and more prominent, and it's exciting. And again, the first is the fundamentals and the cleanup of the backyard aren't sexy, but that move away from fear, uncertainty, and doubt to maturing the security narrative inside the business as one of like, this is an org that provides value is becoming at least more and more relevant to the conversations I'm having.
Cool. What advice do you have for founders? Someone who's, who wants to grab the bull by the horns.
Yeah. Well, I'd say I'm trying to think a little bit how I would tie it to our conversation today. It is both very exciting and extremely uncertain what the future has in store. Don't get caught up in listening to the people that sound like they have it all figured out. I think that's probably one of the most important things to pay attention to as a founder, because it's easier than ever to ask Claude to go out and see all the fundraising rounds and the insane valuations of X, Y, and Z for all these people that seem to really have it figured out. But don't get caught up in all that. There is a ton of uncertainty. There is a ton of opportunity because of that uncertainty. But beware of the people that seem so sure of themselves. On the founder side, or the investor side, or quite frankly, the customer side at this point. I think we all have to understand there's a lot of stuff going on right now, moving at a different pace than ever before. And so, you're doing just fine. If you want to go start something, go and do it. Know what you're getting yourself into. But if you're in it right now as a founder and you seem uncertain about things, just know everybody else is.
Yes.
But they're not showing it.